The 1985 Canadian 5-cent coin, featuring Queen Elizabeth II, is a significant representation of Canada's numismatic history, national identity, and its long-standing ties to the British monarchy. Minted by the Royal Canadian Mint, this coin belongs to the regular circulation series and carries a face value of 5 cents. It is part of the Beaver Nickel series, which began in 1937 and remains one of the most recognizable Canadian coin designs. The coin is composed of nickel 99.9%, weighs 4.54 grams, has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, and a thickness of approximately 1.76 millimeters, with a plain edge. The obverse of the coin features the right-facing effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Mackin, which was used on Canadian coinage from 1965 until 1989. This portrayal of the Queen shows her wearing a tiara and was the second effigy used during her reign. Around her portrait is a Latin legend, Elizabeth II de Regina, meaning Elizabeth II by the grace of God, Queen. This inscription reaffirms Canada's constitutional monarchy and its symbolic ties to the British Crown. The reverse side of the coin, designed by G. Kruger Gray, features a beaver sitting atop a rock, symbolizing Canada's wildlife and the fur trade that played a vital role in the country's colonial and economic history. The beaver was chosen as a national emblem due to its importance during the early days of Canadian settlement, when fur trapping and trade dominated. Below the beaver image, the word Canada is prominently inscribed, with the date 1985 centered just above the denomination 5 cents. The beaver design is detailed, showing the animal's fur texture, the ripple of the water, and the rock's rugged surface, all of which convey a naturalistic yet symbolic representation. The artistry and simplicity of the design have made it iconic over the decades. The 1985 5-cent coin was struck during a transitional time in Canadian coinage. In the mid-1980s, the Royal Canadian Mint was advancing in minting technology and refining quality control. Although there were no major design changes to this coin in 1985, collectors pay close attention to die varieties, such as differences in the size of the date or the shape of the letters, which are common points of study for numismatists. Notably, some 1985 nickels can be found with strong or weak strikes, especially on the beaver's tail or queen's facial features, due to the coin's relatively hard nickel composition. While the mintage of 1,985 nickels is considered high, over 102 million coins, most remain in average circulated condition, though uncirculated and proof-like examples are still collectible. Their value generally remains close to face value, unless they are in pristine condition or display rare die errors, which can be of more interest to collectors. The 1985 Canadian 5-cent coin not only served a functional role in daily commerce, but also stood as a small yet powerful cultural artifact. It reflects Canada's respect for nature, its monarchy, and its commitment to artistic tradition in currency. The continuation of the beaver design throughout decades shows the importance of stability and national identity in coinage, while the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II connects Canada to a larger Commonwealth tradition. For many Canadians, coins like the 1985 nickel evoke memories of daily life, purchasing sweets, riding public transport, or saving up change. In the realm of numismatics, it remains a staple of 20th century Canadian coin collecting and a symbol of the era's coinage style next top. The 1989 Canadian 5-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II is a small but culturally rich artifact of Canadian monetary and national history. Though modest in face value, this nickel coin holds significance both for its design and its place within the broader evolution of Canadian coinage. It represents a moment in time when the Canadian Mint was balancing tradition, monarchy, and national identity through the meticulous detail struck into this everyday object. The obverse of the 1989 Canadian nickel features the familiar effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Canadian artist Arnold Mackin. This portrait, introduced in 1965, shows the Queen wearing a tiara, specifically the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a gift to Queen Mary in 1893 and later passed on to Elizabeth. The inscription around the portrait reads Elizabeth II de Regina, which stands for Elizabeth II by the grace of God, Queen. This styling reflects Canada's constitutional monarchy and its ties to the British Crown, which were deeply symbolized in the imagery used on coins. By 1989, Queen Elizabeth had been depicted on Canadian coins for over 3 decades, and the Makin portrait remained in use until 1990, just 1 year later, when it was replaced by Dora de Pedery-Hunt's design. On the reverse of the coin is the classic beaver design, originally created by Canadian artist G. Kruger in 1937. The image of a beaver sitting on a rock amid stylized water is more than just a representation of a common Canadian animal. It is an emblem of Canada's economic and colonial history. Beavers played a vital role in the fur trade, which was central to early European exploration and settlement in Canada. The beaver is industrious, resilient, and foundational to the country's economic history. This reverse design has remained virtually unchanged for decades, a testament to its cultural resonance. Encircling the beaver are the inscriptions 5 cents at the top and Canada at the bottom, with the date 1989 placed prominently beneath the beaver's image. Just below the beaver lies a tiny but significant letter KG, the initials of Kruger, honoring his contribution to Canadian numismatic art. The coin features denticles, small tooth-like dots, around its rim, which is a traditional design element giving it both a decorative and anti-counterfeiting function. This 5-cent piece was struck in nickel, a metal Canada was once a world leader in producing, particularly from the mines in Sudbury, Ontario. The use of pure nickel in these coins made them magnetic, a feature distinct from many coins globally and one that also played a role in Canadian vending machine technology and coin sorting. By the late 1990s and 2000s, the Royal Canadian Mint began replacing pure nickel with plated steel due to rising metal costs. But in 1989, the coins were still minted with 99.9% pure nickel, making them heavier and more durable than many modern counterparts. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1989 Canadian nickel has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, a thickness of about 1.76 millimeters, and a weight of 4.54 grams. It has a smooth edge unreeded, and its round shape conforms to most Western coinage standards. Despite its low face value, the precision of its striking and the symbolism of its imagery showcase the Royal Canadian Mint's commitment to artistry and national pride. From a historical perspective, 1989 was not a year of major coinage reform, but it was still an era of transition. Canada was preparing for changes in coinage composition and the modernization of the mint's practices. The 1980s saw increased public interest in collecting coins, and the Royal Canadian Mint began producing more commemorative and proof sets, although the regular circulation nickel in 1989 remained part of the standard issue. Numismatically, the 1989 5-cent coin is common and not considered rare. It was produced in large quantities. Over 106 million pieces were minted for circulation, making it widely available even today. It does not have significant collector value in circulated condition, typically worth its face value or slightly more in the secondary market. However, in uncirculated mint state or proof-like condition, especially when part of a mint set or stored properly, it can attract interest from collectors looking to complete a date series or those focused on specific design eras like the Makin portrait. In summary, the 1989 Canadian 5 cents coin is a classic example of Canada's enduring approach to its currency, rooted in monarchy, national wildlife, and high-quality minting standards. The presence of Queen Elizabeth II ties Canada to its Commonwealth heritage, while the beaver connects it to its natural and economic history. Though not rare or particularly valuable, this coin remains a symbol of Canadian identity and craftsmanship, preserved in the pockets and collections of Canadians and coin enthusiasts around the world.